Hello, beautiful being. Oneness evolving here in my very autumn-looking front garden, though actually it's truly winter here now. Let me show you around before I go inside and tell you what I've been doing this morning for God of me. Man, I'm a scruff, look at me. It's been a busy morning. I haven't been paying much attention to how I look. And you can hear the builders next door. It's, it's a busy day out here. Let me turn the camera around because the winter garden is starting. Get my shadow out of the way. I hope you can see that the sun is sparkling off all the water. It was a frosty morning. It's been cold. It is beautiful here. And look at all the Spiraxis coming up. This bed is going to explode into colour in a few weeks. And it's beautiful. Oh, geez. Oh no, that's not a weed. I thought it was. I've done quite well keeping this bed weed free. Look at it, it's beautiful. And there's me waving at you. And what else do I want to show you? There's a lot of stuff just coming up. All of this is just very fresh and green. Oh, this is lovely. This will come out with yellow flowers later. And it's just beautiful. I love these little wintry things. Everything needs pruning. I worked in the back garden last weekend. I still got these beautiful flowers. There you go, now you can see them. They never stop, but I am going to have to prune this because you can see how leggy and tall it's got. And no plant does well if you don't prune it. So, oh look, you better see, there's all the work. Look, the houses look like houses now. And I nearly forgot to show you, look at this. The lawn is beautiful. It's covered in lovely golden and glowing red and orange leaves. And the cherry tree is too. So this is how it is today, and I love this. The colours against the blue sky. It's very beautiful out here. This is one of my favourite things, is standing under the cherry tree when it looks like this and sharing this with you. So, not a very quiet experience out here today, but beautiful all the same. And now I'm going to turn this around and come inside and talk to you about what I've been writing this morning. Because, I've been writing, and it continues to be interesting and amazing and kind of surprising to me because it's not me writing. So I'll just put some bits and pieces down. It is quieter in here. I'm so grateful for that. I don't really like a lot of background noise. My brain gets very distracted. So here I am. I'll just organise this so I can sit back and you can see me. There we go. It's nice to have a stand. I invested in a little standy thing and it's really good. So, what I was writing about today, it always begins, I understand this process better now, it always begins at the 0 point field and I. We are writing together. The 0 point field is really my best friend. The 0 point field is the unified field, God, source, oneness, infinite mind, wholeness. I don't know, what name do you have for it? I call it the 0 point field, the unified field, or actually my one, my all. Together we are writing this thing, and I don't know what I'm going to be writing from week to week. It's just, we look at what we wrote last week, and there's a certain amount of editing and tidying up, and then okay, now what? So, we've been talking about the fact that there is a pattern in 5D which is responsible for your 3D life. We all think we have this idea, most of us, hi Robin, we have this idea that we have a body and it resonates and it creates a field which people can measure, okay? There's an electromagnetic field that you as a human have around your body. And depending upon your state of mind and how your body is, that field changes. It can get smaller, it can get bigger, all of that goes on. And so we think, okay, here's my body, there's my field. Actually, That is upside down and inside out. That's not how it is. How it is that you are a resonance that exists in the unified field. You're as big as the unified field. You're just not the whole. The whole is the unified field, and you are part of the whole, and wholeness in parts, to quote Dr. Joe. And that resonance that is you out pictures from 5D into 3D, into the experience that you have in your body on this world that is called your life. That is my experience of the truth of how our lives work. Okay, so that is what the 0 Point Field and I have been writing about. And I keep learning stuff as we write, because the 0 Point Field does not see things or perceive things or explain things the way I would either. And I really like that, because this is an unfolding for me, not just for you. It's not like I'm sitting here writing about stuff that's old hat and I've been studying this for 30 years. I've been living my life for however long I've been living my life. But there is new information that is being given to me every day. Sometimes it's overwhelming, and this is what's coming out of it. So, a key thing that most of us do not know, or even if we have an idea about it, we do not understand, is that this 5D pattern that exists beyond space and time actually creates our 3D body, our life, our experiences, everything. And further, what we don't know or understand is that there is a 5D me that actually chose the foundations of that pattern before I became the 3D me. And it gets very confusing, because the logical linear human mind says, what are you talking about? I'm here, I'm in a body, I'm breathing, I'm living, I'm passing through time, I'm getting old, or whatever it is. What do you mean there's a 5D me? What the hell are you talking about? Well, here's the thing. We don't just exist here. We exist somewhere else as well. Let's just say that. Because if I say we exist in 5D as well, what does that actually mean to you? I don't think I can explain what that means to you. I only know what it means to me. But the point is that before you and I became humans, and again, this is my truth. You may go, oh, this is complete rubbish, and that's fine. You're welcome to. Let me talk about myself. Before I extended myself into this 3D experience of being human, I was one with the unified field. Hi, Carrie. Great to see you, sweetie. I was there. And in the unified field, we know everything. We understand everything. And we exist in one long, eternal moment where there is no time. We are just everything, everyone, everywhere, every time, every place, all in one moment. And there's a thing that goes on there, because, of course, nothing goes on there. You just, you just are. And if you want to change, you have to do something. But you can't do something in a place where there's no time, because to do something, you have to have a before and an after. And that's a bit of a problem. So sooner or later, some part of you wants to evolve. It wants to organize something. It's just like, if you tip a box of jigsaw puzzle pieces in front of somebody, sooner or later, even if they don't really feel like making a jigsaw puzzle, eventually they'll get curious and think, oh, surely some bits of this must go together. What can I make here? And so in order to outpicture ourselves from being that oneness and that wholeness, we have to surrender that complete understanding of everything. And I spoke about this last week. We wrote about this last week. And we have to create a 5D pattern, a pattern in 5D, which will outpicture into 3D the life and the body and the family and the situation and the circumstances and the country and the culture and everything else that we find ourselves in when we get born. We actually choose those things. We do. Because, and this is what we wrote. The 0 Point Field said, so when you're there in that no place and no time and being all things and everything and everybody and everyone and whatever, and you think, okay, I as a soul through the whole of time, all of my experiences in the whole of time, I observe that I have had trouble speaking my truth. Okay, now that's just an example. It could be that you have trouble standing up for yourself, or you have trouble always being nasty to people, or whatever it is. There's a pattern that keeps repeating in your life, or but when you're in no time, you can see all of your life through the whole of eternity, and so you see a pattern. And you think, well, I'd really like an opportunity to do better at this. So how can I do that? Because here I am, everything, and there's no opportunity to do better because I can't do because I simply am. Well, I could go down to planet Earth again. I could stop being everything, all time, all place, and everything else. I could go to planet Earth and have an experience of being human. But okay, and there's a lot of chaos there, and chaos is uncomfortable, but it allows change. When everything is stable, it's more comfortable. But who wants to change when they're comfortable? This is just, how it works. So, all right, if I'm going to do this, where is for example, a country, a continent, whatever, where I will have to overcome some aspect of speaking my truth? Well, I could go to this place where people who dissent or have different or divergent opinions, they get ridiculed, they might get beaten up, they might even be killed. Well, that's too much for me. I just sort of freak out and shut up and just when somebody disapproves of me. So I don't need to go and be where everybody is very tolerant of opinions, because I can actually do that. I can actually have an idea and know what I think, and I can express it quite clearly. I have other people I know or other beings I know that can't do that yet. I can do that. But what I struggle to do is where I get stuck, if you like, the place where I'm at with this growth, is as soon as somebody disapproves of me, I choke, quite literally. So I need to go someplace where there is disapproval of diverse opinions, but not physical danger. Because I know that I can't handle physical danger. I can't handle that much, resistance. So it's like, okay, I'm going to choose the right level of challenge for me. It's like picking and choosing a computer game and saying, well, I want to set it on easy or I want to set it on hard. So we do this. And then, okay, so I'm going to live here. Right, who are the people who are going to give me my body and look after me or help me get accustomed to being on planet Earth in a human body while that body is growing? And you notice that I stay away from the normal words that we use to describe those people. That's actually what we are thinking up there. Who are those people going to be? And so, and again, it comes down to, okay, I have these specific requirements. That's a frequency. Who are the people that are resonating at the frequency to match this frequency that I want to be? Where there's enough pressure that I have to grow, but there's not so much that I just can't. And so we do this for everything that's important in our lives. We don't choose every last little situation. We choose the setup. It's like the settings of the game. And I don't quite want to say it like that because some people will think, this isn't a freaking game. This is my life and it's really hard. Yeah, okay. I've felt like that many times and I still do sometimes, not as much because I understand it better for myself now. So we choose the settings. We choose the setup, the people, the places, the culture, the important instances in our lives. Hi, Augusta! The events, right? The big events. Imagine all of the people who crossed over in the Indonesian tsunami in, was it 2004? When they chose their lives, however it was, they chose to participate in that. That's a major event. By the way, if I go into this life, I am going to cross over in this way because I'm choosing this environment. I'm choosing to be in Indonesia, right? I'm choosing this life, so it's going to end like this. Am I up for that? Am I okay to be 3 months embodied as a little baby and then be washed away in the tsunami? And the soul would choose or not. This is actually how I know, feel, believe, find that it works. So we choose these frequencies. We choose the big pieces. We do not say then, okay, here are these things. It's now set in stone. We don't set our lives up like a list of things that we're going to do. It's not like going on a holiday and saying, I'm going to visit Berlin. I'm going to visit Paris. I'm going to go to Italy. Dun, 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 dun. No choices. You go off and do the things that you do. Because the key thing is that when we're doing this, we are choosing potentials. We are choosing a setup so that we can encounter the same situation of, geez, I'm finding it hard to speak my truth here. And we have an opportunity to make a different choice. You can't make a different choice unless you go into a similar situation. And if you like, this kind of is what karma is. It's not about punishment, and it's not about I have to go through this lesson over and over and over until I've got it. All it is we have to make a different choice. But to make a different choice, you have to understand that there's a different choice available. You have to have an awareness that can perceive a different choice, all of that stuff. And of course, every time we choose to embody here, it's a different planet, it's a different society, whatever. So all of that is going on. And there is a 5D us that is always in 5D supporting that end of it, while there's another part of you that's extended in 3D. This is a profound thing that people can struggle to grasp, that we are not 100% there or here. We're actually in both. We really are. And, the part of me that's in 5D that's unified with all it is, has all the answers. And you could even say, that's who's to blame for my life being the way it is, but that's not true, really. Apart from the fact that there's no blame at all, we make choices. And that's the whole point. We come here to see if we can make a different choice from what we made before. I've got the same thing going on in my life over and over and over and over and over again. Well, I can respond to it by being victimized by it, for example, or I can make a different choice, but be a different person, have a different expectation, whatever. It's very specific to each person. But the point is that this is what it's about. This is my understanding of what it's about. Now, the thing about potentials is that they are not set in stone. They are potentials. They are a set of setups that every time you make a choice, something changes. And I was thinking to the field, well, how do we explain this? And this idea, and it's an idea that I've thought of before, but it dropped straight into my mind. Imagine a million spiders' webs, and they're all connected to each other. Right? It's going to take up a lot of space unless you have them all balled up into a big thing. A million spiders' webs, and they're beautiful, and they're covered in dew, and they're all connected. Now, if you pull just one thread in that massive network, it's going to actually change the whole thing. It's going to change the stuff that is immediately around. Quite obviously, you'll see that. But it's actually going to change everything. Because if you think about how a spider's web is, and if there's just a little breeze blowing through it, well, it's blowing through it a certain way. If you tighten one thread, you're going to tighten a whole section of it, and then the resonance of that wind blowing through the web completely changes the whole thing, whether you can see it or not. One choice, one change, changes the whole. If you have a million circuit boards and they're all connected up and they're all communicating like a brain, and a technician goes and changes 2 or 3 critical connections, the whole thing is different. And then you might say, well, okay, what if somebody changes just one teeny tiny thing that only affects 2 circuit boards? Affects the information that flows between 2 of them. Okay, so something changes with this one circuit board. It makes a small choice. It's different. And it affects the information that goes to this one. The only interaction that's actually changed is between those 2 circuit boards. However, the information of the second circuit board is different, and so is this one. So now you've got different information. Both of them are sending out different information. That means that all their neighbours, every circuit board that they connect with, is going to receive different information. And then it's going to respond to the different information, and the different information continues to spread, and the whole is changed. And so there is no way for one individual to make a choice that doesn't affect everything and everyone. Every little real choice that we make affects the whole. And by a real choice, I mean a choice to change. If you don't change, nothing changes. But if I change from being resentful about that situation in my life, or frustrated, or oh God, this is never going to end, or I can't change this, or whatever it is, if I realize that I've been being like that for 40 years, and I find an even slightly different way to do that, to say, oh God, I wish this would change. Hang on a minute. Maybe I've got something to do with this. Maybe if I just say, thank you that I understand that I'm contributing to this, so maybe I can change me. Even just changing how you relate to a situation that just never seems to change, like that much, is actually massive, because if you continue to embody that and live that and think that and make choices that way instead of going, oh God, this is never going to change, you betcha your life is going to be different. Only one small change affects the whole. So that's the first thing. We are not locked into stone by, oh, I have this program, I made this contract, it's my karma. We always have choice. Always. Even if you're sitting in a prison cell and you're going to be executed next week, you have a choice about what you do with the time between now and then. It may be really hard not to spend that time in fear, but you have a choice. Do you understand? We always have a choice about how we show up in each moment. There may be some things in our three-dimensional world that appear to be completely unchangeable, and perhaps they are. But we have a choice about who we show up with, who we show up as in every moment. And it changes everything when we do. And bear in mind, like pulling the spider's web, you can only see the bit that's close to you and how it's changed. We rarely, if ever, understand how the whole vast thing changes when we do. This is how powerful we are when we really choose to change. And this is one of the points that the 0 Point Field was making today. I didn't expect that. I was like, wow. So we're not constrained by what we came in with. We really aren't. We're not trapped. We can't say, oh, it's my karma, it's my contract. Really bluntly, bullshit. It's not true. Because we always have a choice. So, we are in 5D as a pattern, a resonance in the unified field that outpictures into 3D. That's just what I experience as truth. How do you change that pattern so that the 3D outpicturing is different? How do you do that? The 0 Point Field has explained to us that it is perfect, it's a pattern of love, and it's a pattern of love that resonates and holds together and structures everything in this universe. When we find a way to resonate ourselves in 3D and even a little bit of our 5D pattern enough that it's similar, a little bit similar to that perfect 5D pattern of love, then we end up being in a similar frequency to the 0 Point Field, where all of the information and all of the answers that we seek exist, totally are, totally there. And that 5D, you and me, really loves us and wants us to have that information. We just have to get on the frequency, on the wavelength to receive that information. That is the thing that the 0 Point Field wants to teach us. And that's what it's about, really, is connecting 3D and 5D and realizing that you're in both places at once. I think is really important to understand. You're not just this little 3D person rolling around like a pea on a barrel, and this is how I always used to feel, stuck in this body with no ability to change anything. But equally, it's not about, I'm going to change this with the power of my mind. No, we're here and we're there. And the key is being able to connect the two. And and then, of course, everybody says, well, how do you do it? And the 0 Point Field said, and I wrote this, and if you want to hear me read this, of course, you know the deal. I will be reading this onto video. It will go onto my Patreon a couple of days' time. All you need to do, if you'd like to hear me read it, is just follow me for free. And then, when you get the email, click the link and go listen. The 0 Point Field said, what did it say? I've gone off on a sidetrack now. Oh yes, the how to do it is actually a potential. It's not in my head, oneness, yet, but it's there, it's resonating in the field, and I can feel it. And I'll let you into something, it says, I'm going to let you into something. There will be a group. It will be 8 people at least, and it will be no more than 12. And there will be experimentation. There will be trial and error. There will be a learning. Oneness and the 0 point field, we will lead. And by lead, it's not you do, it's a facilitation. I know what happens as we work together. And this process of how it works in that space for that particular group of frequencies, which I know are collecting themselves together. These are people who are curious and willing to spend a little bit of time and a small amount of money, and I'm not talking a lot. Well, that's what we're going to do. So that's new. I mean, I thought I knew, but I wasn't really expecting the 0 point field to say this is how it's going to happen. It's an evolution. It's a creation. I've got clues, but I don't actually know what shape it's going to take. And then it says, well, if you can feel that resonance calling you, well, put your hand up, say so. Contact Oneness on Patreon. Okay. That's very direct. So that's the invitation. And I know that we'll keep writing, and I know there will be more framework for how this all works and what sticks it together. But the practicum, the putting it together, that is going to be a group creation. And that is kind of a surprise to me. I thought it was going to be given to me, and then I'd just say, well, here it is. No, it's a creation. So I guess for a little while, we're going to be inviting you to consider that. Decide whether you would like to play, whether you would like to explore, whether you want to get practical. Because that's what it boils down to, really, is, who wants to play? So, with that, I want to thank you for sharing your time and your energy with me and with the 0 point field. I look forward to seeing you on Patreon. If you want to comment, if you want to ask questions, that's a delight to me. And I'll be back next week with more. Until then, much love.